Today's day number 66 of the $1,000 account challenge, and we are up $411 in the account, or 3.86% of the total portfolio balance. Now, if you don't know, my name is Gates. I'm taking $1,000 and I'm day trading options to see how far we can grow this account. We have officially made $10,000 since the start of the challenge. So in 66 trading days, starting with $1,000, we have made a profit of $10,000, bringing our balance to just over $11,000. Phenomenal. Let's break down the trades that I took today. I took 3 trades, and to be quite honest, even though I'm green on the day, I'm not super happy with the execution. Straight off the day trade watch list, Meta was a long idea above $500, and we will move this to the 1-minute time frame because I did break the rules on Meta today. Usually I do not trade within the first 5 minutes. However, Meta broke above 500 shortly after the open, had 3 candles of consolidation, and my thought process was that if this is going to work, it likely won't pull back on a breakout move. So I wanted to get in prior to the breakout move happening, risking off at 500. So on this dip entry down here close to 500, 500.5. So I took the entry on this dip, my risk off level being to 500, my profit margin being up to the high of day. That's going to give me a profit margin that is double or more than double the amount of risk assumed. But I did something really interesting here where I did not take the profits, even though I was up 20%, I did not take the profits initially. Instead, I added to the position to put more size on as we got confirmation. So my thinking was I'm going to take a smaller size position here to mitigate risk just in case this does fail. And once we start to get confirmation, add size to the position. And then on the very next candle, we're offered 20% profit from the added position, from the added average. So from the original position, I would have been up 40%, but from the added position, I was up 20% profits. And that's where the majority of this profit came from on the day, $411. I was actually up like $500 something at this point. So you might ask, well, Gates, if you were up 500 there, why not go back in on Meta as this pulled back and bounced off 500 multiple times again? I would have, however, I was watching AMD at that time and I was in trades on AMD at that time, and that prevented me from taking or retaking these trades on Meta. Hindsight, I should have just stuck with Meta. So AMD, this today was a long idea above $179. I will show you straight off of the day trade watch list, AMD long above 179. So we get the opening move up above 179. This to me serves as confirmation. We're not chasing the move. We're going to wait for the dip entry. We get a beautiful entry on the dip, and this starts to shape up a pattern known as a bull pennant pattern. So during this time, I'm thinking this should break out, right, and give us the high of day move. And it doesn't do that. It actually starts to break down, and I made the decision to cut the trade there, even though my risk off level was the previous day's closing price. I made the decision to cut here, and I took about a 15% loss on this. In hindsight, this was the wrong thing to do. I should have just trusted my analysis and respected my original stop loss. So I did something here where I'm trading the P&L rather than trading the chart. Now, I know the chart was showing us a bull pennant that's breaking down, but it was still holding above my stop loss area. So I kind of panicked out of this position. But after seeing it hold the previous day's close as support and bounce back up, I decided to retake the position, thinking that maybe this was just a fake out to the downside. Now it's going to go this time and give us profits. Unfortunately, we don't get a follow through on this move either. I take the original position here, add to the position down here as it creates a higher low. It creates a higher high. I'm up about 10% on this position. And by the way, I was up 10% on the other one as well. Up about 10%, still looking for the high of day move. And we just don't get it. This thing curls right back over, and I take another, I think, 12 or 13% loss on this. Where my original stop loss was, which was at the previous day's closing price, I did the exact same thing. I panicked out of the position. I did not give it room down to the PDC. I was trading the P&L. I was not trading the chart, and look at the move that follows after this holds the $179 trigger level as support multiple times. So you can see that while I'm green on the day and I'm profitable on the day, I'm not necessarily happy about the execution. A lot of issues here on AMD. Number one, I think we can just pinpoint it to entries. You know, the entry here was really good. This entry over here was terrible. I kind of chased that move up. If I was going to go long on this, I really should have just taken it long down here off the PDC. I would have had a much better average, and I would have been taking profits most likely here. rather than looking for more. The other thing I did was not taking the profits when offered on both of these positions. I was up 10% here. I was up 10% over here. I could have just taken those profits off. They would have added to 20% and I would have been okay on the day, rather than taking two losses back to back that totaled, about 30% together. The final mistake that I made was trading the P&L and not necessarily the chart, whereas I was in the positions and the entries, they were fine, sure, but not respecting the original stop loss that I set for myself, which was the previous day's closing price. Instead, kind of just panicking out of these positions once I saw the P&L loss being over 10% and nearing that 15% mark. So lots to learn from this video, and that's exactly why we do these reviews. I hope that you have learned something from it and learned from my mistakes rather than repeat my mistakes. Thank you so much for your time and watching. Press that like button for me if this video has helped you out. Also, consider subscribing to the YouTube channel as well, as it's just the best way to support me and this type of work that I do. Thank you so much for your time, and I will see you tomorrow when we continue the $1,000 account challenge. Cheers.